Today we are taking a look at something really different, the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra. It's a 14-inch OLED tablet which is pretty rare in the space. Xiaomi is not just bringing a large screen, they're packing it with their own X-Ring 01 chipset, making this thing more than just a pretty display. It's a device that aims to do a bit of everything: entertainment, productivity, creative work, all on this large, beautiful OLED panel. Now the big question is, does it do well? Let's find out in today's video. If this is your first time here, or in case you just can't remember, I'm Ash, you're watching C4eTech, and let's get started. First up, let's see what we get in the box. Despite its large size, the packaging is surprisingly sleek and minimal. I went with a 12GB RAM 256GB storage variant, which once again is the base model. Lifting the lid, the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra takes center stage. I'll remove the protective wrap. Whoa, this thing is big. Still, it's impressively thin for its size, and we'll get to all that in a bit. Underneath, you've got the usual stuff, a small white box with a quick start guide. Then we have a USB-C charging cable and a 120-watt fast charger. Nothing out of the ordinary, but the highlight here is the device itself, a big, premium-looking tablet with that gorgeous OLED display on top. The thin bezels on the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra, they really give it a wow factor, a stunning 93.6% screen-to-body ratio. Xiaomi's done a solid job with palm rejection here, which is great because with bezels just 3.95mm thick, it is almost impossible to hold the device without accidentally touching the screen. But those thin bezels, they come with a side effect. This notch you see right here. Honestly, it is a bit awkward, isn't it? Especially when you're holding it up in portrait. But I guess it is a trade-off you're gonna have to learn to love, since there is really no flagship tablet this size with an OLED panel without a notch. Inside that notch is a 32-megapixel selfie camera. Good enough for video calls and casual selfies. Xiaomi has also added an LED indicator here to show when the camera is active, which is a nice touch. Now, we've seen plenty of high-performance tablets over the last year, but OLED screens on tablets are still pretty rare. And a 14-inch OLED, it's even more so. Guys, this is Xiaomi's first time using OLED on a tablet, and that kinda got me thinking about the first time Xiaomi used OLED on a smartphone. Well, let's say it wasn't perfect. Back then they had issues with purple fringing and the display didn't quite match up to what Samsung was offering. But fast forward about a decade and I'm happy to report that their first foray into OLED for tablets, it's gone much better. This panel's bright for a 14-incher. The colors aren't oversaturated, but they do pop. Text is super crisp given the 3.2K resolution, and the 120Hz refresh ensures whatever you're doing, it's smooth. Xiaomi's protected this panel with Gorilla Glass 5, and by the way, if you are sensitive to OLED flicker, it supports 4800Hz high-frequency PWM dimming. Oh, by the way, Xiaomi also offers a soft nanoscreen version that cuts down on reflections. I've only seen that model on videos so far, but looks pretty promising, especially for better outdoor usability. This is a 10 plus 2-bit panel with Dolby Vision and HDR10 plus support. Paired with 8 speakers with Dolby Atmos means the audio experience is just as impressive. The aspect ratio is 3:2, so you're gonna see some black bars when watching videos, but given those deep blacks of OLED and the sheer size, I can't really complain. Overall, this feels like one of the best big screen tablets we've seen, a true media consumption beast. Guys, if you're after an OLED Android tablet, the options are pretty limited. You've got the Honor Magic Pad 2 or GT Pro, Samsung's Tab S10 series, Acer's Iconia X12, Huawei's MatePad Pro 13.2, NEC's LaviTab T14, and now the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra. And among all of these, the Pad 7 Ultra is the most powerful by a long shot. Just check out the benchmark numbers. And that's largely thanks to Xiaomi's own X-Ring 01 SoC. Well, we've already seen the X-Ring 01 in action in Xiaomi's 15S Pro. The one used here is a little different. Let me explain. Here's the X-Ring 01's core split up that we saw on the 15S Pro. Now it's the same with the Pad 7 Ultra, but the X925 cores, they're only clocked at up to 3.7 GHz. The performance-focused A725 cores, they max out at around 3 GHz, and the GPU is clocked at 1200 MHz. The rest of it remains pretty much the same. I think Xiaomi made this call to lower the clock speeds because of how thin this tablet is, and honestly that looks like a smart move. On a 20-minute stress test, unlike the 15S Pro which threw up an overheating warning after just a few minutes, the Pad 7 Ultra completed it. Not only did it complete it, it only lost about 12% of its peak performance, with the temperatures maxing out at just 42 degrees Celsius and just at one point on the back. So it runs a lot cooler. Guys, if you've been enjoying the video so far, please show your appreciation. A subscription would be nice, or at least a thumbs up. Anyways, moving on. From a specs perspective, the X-Ring01 is paired with 12 or 16 gigs of LPDDR5T RAM, either 256, 512 gigs or up to a terabyte of UFS 4.1 storage. Despite being so sleek, after all, it's just 5.1mm thin, hell, the pen looks a lot thicker in comparison. Xiaomi still managed to fit in a massive 12,000 mAh battery on this thing with 120W fast charging. In hand, once again, the Pad 7 Ultra is very big. Not exactly the most comfortable for long sessions, but at just over 600 grams, it's quite lightweight for its size. The camera array looks clean. It features a 50-megapixel Samsung JN1 sensor, which is perfect for document scans and quick photos. On the back, you've got pins for a keyboard case. Xiaomi is offering a setup similar to Apple's Magic Keyboard for iPad Pros, where the tablet just floats over the keyboard. The trackpad even has gesture support, though again, these aren't things I've tested for myself, I'm just passing along the information that I've seen. Now Xiaomi offers a workstation mode where apps open in resizable windows, up to 4 at once. It's pretty good for productivity. Do note that the Type-C port is USB 3.2 with video out, but you can only mirror the display. By the way, there is also a fingerprint scanner built into the power button, and that's been super responsive and accurate so far. Now with the SoC, while there is a lot of power, the X-Ring01 faces challenges similar to what MediaTek's Dimensity chips face, as in driver support and game support is just better for Qualcomm's chipsets. So if you're planning to do a lot of emulation, especially Windows game emulation, this might not be the best choice. But then again, if you want a media-focused device that's solid for daily use, a bit of productivity, a little gaming, the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra definitely delivers. And at its price point, it's pretty compelling. Starting in China at 56.99 RMB, it might seem a little high at first glance, but when you compare it to that other 14-inch flagship AMOLED tablet in the market, the pricing makes a lot of sense. Even Xiaomi's top 1TB spec with a soft nano glass, that's a good 20% cheaper than Samsung's base Tab S10 Ultra. So what do you think about Xiaomi's Pad 7 Ultra? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below that like button, and thanks for watching. Ash, out.